Welcome to the Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I am your host, Mindy Wonder-Quario, and I'm a small town go-to girl next door who is obsessed with helping others see more for themselves so they can thrive in all areas of life. I love researching all the things like wellness, mindset, relationships, you name it. If I'm obsessed with it, I get hyper-focused on it and I research the crap out of it, and then I share it with you. If those are things that you're also obsessed with, then keep listening and let's become new best friends. Have you guys listened to the podcast about the telepathy tapes? Oh my gosh. I'm only on episode 5 or 6. I need to get back into it. You know who I am. You know when I get super obsessive and hyper-focused on something. So I probably listened to all 5 of those episodes within like 48 hours or less. There had been this week, I think 3 people who text messaged me privately saying, have you listened to this? I was like, yeah, I'm on episode 6, but I need to get back on track. I think this is going to be a documentary. I think we're going to be able to watch it, but don't wait for the documentary. Here's the gist. It's telepathy tapes. So these parents with special needs kids, the kids that are nonverbal on the spectrum, nonverbal kids. Normally it's nonverbal. I haven't listened to the whole podcast series yet. So if you have, I'm sorry if I'm incorrect on this, but where I'm at so far, it is so interesting. You have to listen to this. But here's the gist. So these kids that are nonverbal are reading people's minds. I know this is going to sound a little crazy at first, but that's why you need to listen to believe, because this lady actually goes to the family's homes and they'll hold up, let's just say, some flashcards with a 3-digit number, like 638. And the child with autism will be in the other room. The mom will look at it, not read out loud, just look at like 638. And the kid in the other room, they'll say, what number is your mom thinking about right now? And he'll say 638. And it's just crazy. There's so many different, I don't want to say tests, but like tests, because they're trying to test the theory if this is actually working or what this could be, because people are trying to debunk it. They're trying to debunk it, saying it's not true. And I'm going to relate it back to my children on the spectrum in a second here. It's crazy because these parents were just like, this mom was telling a story and she said, I had tried everything. Her son was nonverbal. She didn't know how to help him. She's tried it all. You know what I mean? And she was in her bedroom crying, because if you don't have a child on the spectrum, you don't understand. There is autism that you see when you watch Love on the Spectrum. You see these beautiful, sweet, full of life kids or young adults trying to date. It's so beautiful and it warms your heart and it makes you giggle because they don't have maybe the same social grace that we have. And I always think, to be Lily. She doesn't give two you-know-whats. She just does what she wants. She wears what she wants. She's interested in what she wants. She can tell the people who get her and the people who are non-judgmental and aren't looking at her, judging her. She will go up and sit on somebody's lap and just be like, hey, I love you, and I just love that she's just so full of life in herself. Like, I love that. There's other sides of Lily that maybe I don't always share. Maybe I should. Like just last night, like something we're struggling with, and we do believe it's something like with this telepathy tape, like we feel like she feels my energy. Moms that are listening, dads that are listening, if you have a kid on the spectrum, you're probably shaking your head. Don't you feel like your child feels what you're feeling sometimes, or reads your mind? Almost, because that's how we felt since day one. I've been saying this since day one about Lily, because we're struggling with that with Lily. If I'm working and if I'm on my phone working or texting somebody back, answering a question, obviously I work from home. So my hours, I don't go to work for somebody else and I clock in at 9 and come home at 6 and then I don't care about what I'm doing. I have a vision and a mission and I'm serving other people in such a beautiful, like important way. That's how I feel. Sometimes I'm on my phone at 5 a.m. Sometimes it's 2 a.m. Sometimes it's 6. I really do try when I pick up my kids from school to unplug, especially since Lily feels this way. But there are times in this rebuilding stage where I gotta work, I gotta do this stuff. But with that said, she gets very upset. You see a different side of Lily that maybe I don't always show, just so you guys know it's not easy. It's not all sunshine and daisies all the time. And so I want to say that, yeah, there's this side of the spectrum where you're seeing these love on the spectrum people and this beautiful thing. But then there's this other side where there's some kids that are totally nonverbal. They're smearing their bowels on the wall. They're they're injuring themselves. There's another side that maybe a lot of you don't know. The reason why I know some of this stuff is because I'm in all these groups, and every single day, part of my mission for the last 10 plus years, is to help parents that have a child on the spectrum and hear their story. Sometimes that's all we need. These parents that have kids on the spectrum, we just want to vent. We just want to share. We want to talk about our kids. We want to ask, hey, did you experience this? What did you use? How did this help you? If you have followed me on Instagram, you can see everything has changed. This has felt so aligned with, I just always have wanted to share this. I'm like, well, not all these moms that follow me have a kid on the spectrum, but that's okay. I feel like it's okay. We all can learn. And just because your child isn't diagnosed with autism doesn't mean that they don't struggle with maybe OCD or sensory issues. Or, I shared a vibration plate that I use with my kids to help with sensory issues. And there's so many moms. I'm like, do you have a kid on the spectrum? No, actually, I don't. I just want to use this for myself and my family because I use it. I mean, I do have ADHD, so it does probably help me in more ways than maybe somebody who doesn't have ADHD. But anyway, so there's so many different sides. There's so many things. And that's why I love sharing it on my social media. If you're not following me, make sure you follow me. It's at Mindy Wender on Instagram. That's where I share most of the stuff. But also I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I share it all. But this mom was just having one of those days because her son is nonverbal. And she just had a hard day, and she went in her room and she was laying in her bed, and she was just like defeated. Like, I'm going to have to put my son in a home. I mean, I don't know what else I can do. It got to that point and she was crying, and her son, who had never done this before, who never felt like he noticed her feelings or had that connection. She always believed that in the back of her head all these years. I think he was older, like a teenager at this time. And she said, I always believed that he's in there. She had tried all these things. But that moment she was getting to the point, like, I don't know. I don't even know what to do anymore. Her son came into her room, sat at the end of her bed and just sat there for a minute and said, I love you, Mom. It wasn't prompted. For those who don't have a child on the spectrum, sometimes you say, I love you. You prompt them to say things. It wasn't prompted. She didn't say it first. He just felt from across the house that she was feeling this way, and he wanted to make her feel better. And that's when she said, wow, he is in there. There's hope. I want to share how I experienced this with Lily too. Listen to this, because these moms are saying how they're able to connect with their kids. It goes even deeper. These kids that have this gift are able to connect with other children or young adults on the spectrum. What do they call it? Something on the hill. And it's like where they all can connect telepathically. They all connect and they can communicate and hang out without even being in the same town. I know that sounds crazy, but if you think about it, and this is a way, and maybe my brain works differently than yours. I mean, we do. If you don't have ADHD, we know my brain works differently than yours. But what I was thinking about is, in my brain, what I thought when I was listening to these episodes is like when somebody is blind, their other senses are heightened, right? They're nonverbal and they're unable to connect, or they struggle with being able to connect socially and stuff like that. Their other senses are heightened. And they are gifted in this area. And yeah, it's crazy. Another thing that I wanted to recommend for you to share this episode and also share information about this, there's something called a Spellers board, and the documentary on this, I think it's just called Spellers, the documentary. I'll link it in the show notes. There are these boards, and that's how these kiddos kind of got started and be able to express that they can hear, they can read minds. Like, I already knew that you thought that. I already knew this. I already knew that. And they're able to communicate with their parents for the first time ever. because of these boards. You got to look into this documentary. And if you ever tried and it failed, one of the moms on one of these episodes on this podcast, she said, don't give up. It takes a while. They got to learn how to use it. You have to go through the training yourself to be able to teach your kid, or find a therapist to teach your child how to use it. And don't give up. It's not like it didn't connect and you throw it in the garbage after one time. No, it takes a while, because I have one too, but my kids are not nonverbal. They have a hard time forming complete sentences. Like Lily can totally speak in complete sentences, but it's in her own way. It's maybe not how you and I would talk. Like, you should see the long paragraph text messages that she will send her dad, me, Joey, my husband, or Bree is her stepmom. She'll text us these long text messages, like especially to Bree. She's like obsessed with her stepmom. And she'll be like, okay, when I come over to dad's house, and she'll list out she's very specific. She's a visionary. She is a visionary. And she will say, this is what we're going to do. Come to dad's house. Bree and Lily get the blankets, get the DVD player, watch, and she'll even say the exact DVD, 2023 Blu-ray edition. She knows it all. And we're going to do this and eat this. Then we're going to go to Grandma Elle's, watch this, go home and go to bed. She can explain that, but it's not like a full, complete sentence. And then if I say, Lily, what was your best part of your day at school? It's hard for her to, okay, that's a question that I asked. So now she has to process that input, right? Then she has to process the input, think of an answer, and then process that, then have the output, a verbal output of answering that question. That's a lot. So that's our goal. We're working on getting her there. She's 13, and I believe we will get her there. Even if she was 30 and she hadn't done that yet, I still believe we get her there. I'm never going to put a ceiling on this girl or any child with autism. That's just not me. But I haven't given enough time. I think if I gave it more time, I think maybe that would help her, and maybe not. You got to try. Some things work great for other. I've seen a kid take the exact supplement that I've given my daughter, be completely healed, losing the label of autism, totally healed from autism. Speaks and went from nonverbal to speaking in full sentences. I tried that same supplement, and it makes Lily's behaviors worse. You got to just try and see what works and have a positive outlook throughout it all and not get defeated, which I've been defeated many, many times, but you just work through it, pick yourself back up. And if you love your child, which we all do, it makes it easy, because you're not doing this for you. I'm doing this for her. I'm doing this for him, which just inspires you more. So the reason why I really, truly believe in this telepathy tape podcast, and I really encourage you guys to listen, because I've been experiencing this forever with Lily. And my best friend Melissa can vouch for me. Like, we were like, dude, how did she know that? It's crazy. You have to experience it and be around Lily to get what I'm saying. I'll be in my bedroom and upset of her something, and she'll be in her bedroom across the house, and she will run all the way to my bedroom and say, Mom's happy. Mom, are you okay? Are you okay, Mom? She wants me to smile. She wants me to put a happy face on, which is hard sometimes when you're not happy, right? Moms, we get that. Parents, we get that. I'm like, yes, Lily, I'm happy. I'm so sorry. I just have anxiety right now, or I'm just stressed out right now with work. She just feels my energy. And the same thing is true. Like I said, she's just always been drawn to certain people. And it's so crazy, because I see the people from an adult mom perspective, somebody who isn't on the spectrum. I'm noticing who she's really drawn to. And what I notice is the people who she's really drawn to are always the people that are very accepting and laid back and comforting and loving and non-judgmental. Like one of my best friends, Ashley, and one of my best friends, Melissa, and one of my best friends, Amber. Like she's drawn to these people. And I'm like, no, like, duh. Of course she is, because, same Lily. This is why I don't have like a big circle, but the circle I have are all really amazing people. I want to stop this here. But again, go in the show notes, listen to those telepathy tapes, and then come back and you message me and you're going to want to talk to somebody and I'm going to be the girl you talk to, send me a DM at Mindy Wender, MindyWender. You guys are like, duh. But shoot me a DM on Instagram and be like, dude, I'm listening to this and my mind is blown. That's what you're going to say. And then also follow me on Instagram if you aren't already, because like I said, I'm sharing tons of wellness hacks and sharing tons of things I do with my kiddos that not only benefit kids on the spectrum, yes, they do, obviously, but they also, I have 5 kids, by the way. I don't just have 2 kids. Some people are like, so you have 2 kids, Lily? No, but the other kids don't want me to talk about them. I have to ask my 16-year-old Lane, I'm like, can I post this before I post anything? And it's usually a no. So it's not that I'm more obsessed with these 2 kids. The other kids are just like, they're living their own life. They don't want to be me sharing their stuff. But the reason I share stuff is because I'm wanting to serve other people. And I want to share what's working because I know I needed that and I still need that. Just today, which I hopefully will have a podcast coming out on this brand new treatment, I will be traveling to a place to do scans on both my kids next week. I'm going to document it all. I'm going to do all the research. I'm going to do a deep dive. I'm going to get hyper-focused. You guys know how I roll. And then hopefully, if I believe in it, and if I want to move forward with it, and if my kids get results, I will be interviewing, hopefully, the doctor on this podcast to share that with you. If I don't even interview him, I'll still always share. Even if I didn't like it, I'll share because you guys should know that information too. That is all. Thanks for listening. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you. Welcome to the Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I am your host, Mindy Wender, and I'm a small town go-to girl next door who is obsessed with helping others see more for themselves so they can thrive in all areas of life. I love researching all the things like wellness, mindset, relationships, you name it. If I'm obsessed with it, I get hyper-focused on it and I research the crap out of it, and then I share it with you. If those are things that you're also obsessed with, then keep listening and let's become new best friends. Hopefully next week. Seriously, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I love connecting with you on social media. So if you guys want, please shoot me a DM at either our podcast Instagram, which is at Obsessed or Not Interested, or even my personal Instagram, which is at Mindy Wender. I check them both, so either is fine. Oh, and truly, if this has helped you even 1%, if you could do me a huge solid and leave me a rating and review, that would mean the world to me. When you guys do that, here's why I really love it. It's because it helps the podcast be able to reach more women who want and need this. So truly, that is like the best compliment you could ever give me, is just leaving ratings and reviews for this podcast. Anything that I talked about in today's episode, any links or resources, you will find that in the show notes. Thank you for listening to today. Can't wait to chat more in the DMs, and don't forget to tune in next Tuesday.